Yeah, you know the song. It's our boys from St. Ricketts. The fire cannot burn. www.saintricketts.com. It is the theme song to another live Tuesday night episode of Yo Show. Looking at myself on the big screen, boy, I'm fuzzy. Might be just because I'm so giant tonight. Because I'm solo. Solo like Han, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Another Tuesday night here on the Yo Show. I am Jeff the Shark Parini. And I am here after an incredible week last week. Solo, as I said, normally Jewel Tatey joins us in the hot seat tonight. You. Thank you, Jewel. Tonight, Jewel got stuck with last minute work duties, so she's tuning in, I guess, kind of playing a little hooky. Um, we wish you could be there too, Jewel. We love you. You're a dynamic part of the show. And, um, you know, Nachus in the house, good evening. Thank you. JD Wolf, good evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. We got a great guest tonight, and this is something right up Jewel's alley because, as you know, Jewel spent time at Penn State and studying communications and spent time at WYSP as an intern. And tonight I managed to get ourselves a terrific guest, a former DJ at WMMR here in Philadelphia. She just signed off for the last time a couple of nights ago. She got a new project going on. We're going to talk about that in a little bit when she comes on the program around 8:30. It is the lovely Miss Sydney Taylor. And I got to tell you, this girl knows more about music of all sorts than pretty much everybody I know. Sydney Taylor coming on the program tonight around 8:30. So, due to the fact that I'm solo, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to play some music. I know Facebook hates that, and I'll go with the we don't own the rights to this music. But the independent artists that we're playing do own the rights to this music, and they've been on our program. They said, play some of our music. So we're going to get a song in tonight from Poeta, a song in tonight from Moonroof, another one from St. Ricketts, something from Molly Rhythms. We're going to get some music in here. We're going to talk to Sydney Taylor about her DJing. We're going to talk about her awesome podcast, which is Metal from the Inside. It's great. She's great. She's just super. She'll be with us around 8:30 tonight. So come on in, man. Check the program out. Say hello. Hang out. Drop a comment. Your comments, I'm going to tell you, again, come out better on YouTube. For some reason, StreamYard has not fixed the Facebook top comments. That's okay. I got myself some Surfside vodka tea, which I really need to start promoting or getting paid to promote. Wouldn't be live TV without some thunder and lightning outside, so of course my dogs are going to go berserk. I am sporting my brand new Eagles hat tonight. As you know, football season is right around the corner, and I'm ready for a big season out of my Philadelphia Eagles. I got my football here ready, and the studio turns into like what they call command center on Sundays for fantasy football and all the stats and the games on the big screen. And so it's coming up very soon. The opener is coming up on a Thursday very soon, Buffalo and the LA Rams. Great stuff, lots of stuff to talk about. We're going to do a top 5 list, of course, because we always do. Vikings versus Eagles Monday night. Can't wait, JD Wolf. JD Wolf, we're going to have some kind of bet. And if my Eagles lose that bet, I'm going to do something outrageous on the show. More outrageous than drinking beer out of a hot dog straw. Yeah, we said it. My wife in the house tonight, Cassie Perini. And my wife, Cassie Perini, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to announce this right now. Did a big thing tonight. Scored us 2 tickets, club box seats, nevertheless, tomorrow night for one of the biggest concerts in a while. Rammstein comes to Philly tomorrow night, and I am told it is one of the greatest concerts we've ever witnessed. My wife managed to land 2 tickets, thanks to good friends of ours. We'll be there tomorrow night, and I will give you the rundown. I am pumped for it. Should be a good game. Should be a very good game. Vikings got a good squad, as did the Eagles this year. That's right, JD Wolf. Got my Rammstein tickets. I am so psyched for tomorrow night. I can't even stand it. The other night, a couple nights ago, last weekend, Korn and Evanescence invaded Camden, if you will. Philly, Camden on the outskirts. And I got to tell you, I thought I had a banner for this. Do I not? I suck tonight. I'm a little nervous tonight because I'm by myself, so I suck just a little bit. But anyway, the other night, Corn, Evanescence. And I tell you what, man, Amy Lee is just killer, like amazing. And she came out and did a song with Corn. Evanescence was fantastic. Corn, of course, was amazing, just really killing it. Doesn't seem to get old. They're a great band in concert. We had a terrific time out there at Camden. There's some footage of me headbanging and singing and screaming like a lunatic. My wife made sure she got all that on video as well. And tomorrow night, maybe some video from Ramstein. So keep your eyes on my Facebook page because I am so pumped for this. And like I said, it's like it's a once in a lifetime thing. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow night. Can't freaking wait. No YouTube. No, I can't get the words out tonight. I'm so excited. No Yo 2.0 tomorrow night. Disappointing, I know, but we will be back. Have fun, cast. Stephanie Bertolato in the house. Thank you, Steph. We will definitely have a great time. She said she's a little scared. She made sure on Facebook today to mention to not let any Satan worshipers kidnap her. You know, you should marry that girl. Wait, I should. I thought about it, and I don't know. She can hang up with all this. She got on the program tonight. Like I said, we have a great guest, Sydney Taylor, at 8:30. Even if Jules not here, we will do a top 5 list because I insist. And with Sydney being like a DJ and kind of a talk show host, if you will, because when you're a DJ, you're your own talk show host. I'm a talk show host on this high-budgeted, Funko Pop flavored program that you're watching here. Thank you. So top 5 talk show host or show host, etc. And the number 5, I came out with Mr. Howard Stern. And I know what everybody says. Blah, 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 blah. I'm still a fan, not as much a fan as I was back in the day when he really broke the ground, said whatever he wanted to do, had naked women sitting on his lap in the studio. And there was a lot of stuff that Stern made popular that a lot of us are doing today, even in like podcasting and webcasting, etc. Yes, I'm sorry, Angela Marie. Our good friend Angela Marie tuning in saying, no comments from Facebook? Still no. Still not working. But Howard Stern at number 5. Number 4, I love this guy, Craig Ferguson. I think he's hilarious. And some people say, well, he's not elite, he's not all-time great. I love me some Craig Ferguson. The rest of the show is hilarious. If you stay up that late at night, check him out. Number 3, this guy, Conan O'Brien. And the reason why I liked his show, but he's like a pioneer in comedy writing and sketch comedy and all that kind of stuff. He's been around a long time. Everybody always never really knew his name behind the scene, but trust me, a legend right there, Conan O'Brien. Number 2, I did not know that. The one and only Mr. Johnny Carson. Legend, ladies and gentlemen. A guy that I watched as a kid. I used to sneak Carson on my TV late at night. You know, my parents thought I was asleep, and I wasn't. I was watching Johnny. Actually, wild and wacky stuff. I'd be watching Johnny. Number 1 is David Letterman. Letterman always cracks me up, despite his peculiar habits. Yes, here's Johnny. Indeed, good call. J.D. Wolf. Here's Johnny. And it's great stuff. David Letterman and number 1. My top 5 list, I will rehash it for you tonight. My top 5 talk show hosts. Number 5, Howard Stern. Number 4 is Craig Ferguson. Number 3, Conan O'Brien. Number 2, Johnny Carson. Number 1, David Letterman. Not making the list, Arsenio Hall, Joan Rivers, Wendy Williams. Forget it. There's tons of them out there that do it. I used to like Jay Leno, too. Not on my list. Whew, catch my breath. So a massive, monstrous, humongous thank you to our guest from last week. And I'm kind of disappointed because I did not load the sound clip. Last week we were joined by Hollywood, Gods, and Monsters. And you know what, man? It was like a moment come true for me to talk with such a great band. There was a little bit of reverb in the beginning, and then they fixed it. And it was Diggity Dave and his wife, Chris, Rachel Bello, of course, a former local girl that we love, and B. Jennings and Hype, and the whole band was here. And we had such a great time. And they're so smart and have so many good things to talk about. And they're just exploding. And then there was a clip at the end. Jewel made a clip about it for YouTube, and I unfortunately didn't share it. Thank you very much, J.D. Wolf. Where Dave Aragon was going up and saying, look, we're fans, man. We listen to your show. We've heard of you. we love what you do for independent artists and smaller bands trying to make their way, and we think it's freaking cool. And I'm here like starstruck, like I don't know what to say. I'm just like blown away, like a guy that in a band that I have hold in such high regard to say that to us is absolutely amazing. As you know, we've had great bands come on here a lot, locals and nationwide. They all say the same thing. Like you give the time to the guests, you let them promote themselves and what they do. And even like I said, later down the road, you know, Facebook fights us on music. Hey man, support those independents. We want independent music heard and seen. I'm going to play a couple songs later to kind of kill the time because it's kind of tough doing this by yourself. I tend to get a little dry in the throat, which is why I carry my surf sides. It's good. So, yeah, we're going to keep supporting independent music and independent artists. We got some lined up coming down the road for you in the next few weeks. We're packed, man. We got stuff until October. We're trying to line up another Halloween show for you. So there's just so much going on here on the Yo Show. And 1,000+ people already jumped on to check out that interview, if you will, with Hollywood Gods and Monsters. And they're legends, man. They're going to be awesome. Some great people in that band. Also, Travis, formerly of Steel Panther, Travis Haley. He didn't make it with us on the show the other night because he is a new dad and he's spending a little time with his wife and his new baby. That is the band there. There is the picture. It's just a superstar group. They were here last week and killed it with us. We had a great time. So thank you to the guys and thank you to Rosie, our awesome PR girl, for putting it together. We love you for it. It was absolutely amazing. I said there's a lot to talk about, and I know say and ah. I'm going to talk to Sydney a little bit about how you get that and ah out of your system, but more or less it's a stall, it's a rehash, it's a rethought. So you know we start once in a while. Another great thing I want to talk about is Ladies Who Rock for a Cause, and the reason I want to talk about it is coming up, and the tickets are selling out really fast. Ladies Who Rock for a Cause.networkforgood.com. I'm going to show the banner because this show is coming to Philadelphia, Constadters, Saturday, October 8th, and the lineup is so great. It is the amazing Sharon Leah of the Sharon Leah Band, who is the head of this organization, puts it together. It's for, of course, ladies who are in need, and she puts together a great show. Last year was virtual. Great show. This year's going to be even better. Live, October 8th, right at Constadters here on Academy Road in Philadelphia. It is going to be the amazing Taylor Dane. Tiffany, of course, remember Tiffany's big song, I Think We're Alone Now. She has been huge. She will be here. Jennifer Page, Kick It Out, which is a tribute to Heart. Another great band, of course, the Sharon Leah Band will be performing, and it's sensational. It's such a great cause, such a great lineup this year, October 8th. Get your tickets now. They are selling fast. Katie Wolf, get your butt down here, bro. I promise you can sleep on my front lawn. Not my house. That's just weird. I'm kidding, bro. Lots of love. And I'm really looking forward to this. I want to get down to this program. Sharon's going to be on our show in late September to talk about it and how she put it all together and how she got some of these great names again. So we're really excited for it. And like I tell you, it's a great cause. So check it out. Got my Guns N' Roses t-shirt on tonight. I'm ready to rock and talk rock with Sydney Taylor. We'll be here around 8:30. I'm jealous, man. An MMR DJ. It's like a dream of mine, as you could tell. Or maybe you can't tell by me doing this. I don't know. But, it's a dream to get on the airwaves and play music and entertain the fans and get a great fan base and do live appearances and all that. It's, it's a little bit of a dream of mine. And I live for it. I live for entertaining people and the great comments and the great guests. We have certainly been fortunate enough to have that here on the Yo Show. Let's talk about a couple topics, and this one's kind of brutal. As you talk about fantasy football and season coming up, and one of the big names was Washington Commanders running back Brian Robinson. And Brian the other day, Sunday night, was shot multiple times during a robbery attempt. Not sure if it was a carjacking or robbery attempt, but Robinson was shot several times. Supposedly he is stable, no life-threatening or career-threatening injury. It's still a pretty scary situation to think a guy who is a rookie getting ready to get thrust in the limelight deals with this situation. So we certainly give out our thoughts and prayers. I know he's a Washington Commander. We're supposed to be Eagles fans. We're not supposed to root for the Commanders, but we're rooting for life here for this young man to kind of get it back together. Hopefully, get back on the field soon. I mean, he was a big name in our fantasy football draft. A lot of people were talking about him, and he's expected to be quite a big deal. So we certainly hope that Brian Robinson gets healthy in time. We're going to talk a little bit about my teams, at least the teams I put up this weekend, shortly. We'll wait for Sydney Taylor to come on. We'll do that great interview with her, and then we'll talk about my horrible fantasy football draft or great fantasy football draft. Depends on who you want to ask. Oh my God, out of breath. This is usually when I tell Jewel to jump in there because I'm running out of breath. But I'll make it. I'll be perfectly okay. We do it every Tuesday night here at the Yo Show. Wednesday night's Yo 2.0. As I said, tomorrow night, no You 2.0 again. Yo, I can't even get it out tonight. I'm like too nervous. I'm so psyched for Sydney Taylor. I got to collect myself. But no Yo 2.0 tomorrow night, as will be at the Ramstein concert. And cross it off the bucket list, folks. I was told something you got to do before you die. I'm going to do it before I die. That's it. So we did top five. We talked a little bit about Washington Commanders, Brian Robinson. Let's get some more topics. Let's do another topic, and it's Chris Rock. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Chris Rock and him being a host of the Oscars. Of course, everybody remembers the slap heard around the world with Chris Rock and Will Smith. So apparently the Oscars came back to Chris for 2023, and they said, hey, how about hosting again? And he graciously said no, which I don't blame him. I wouldn't say yes either. And he compared it to returning to the scene of a crime. You know, it was a tough moment. You know, no matter how people say it was fixed or rigged or it wasn't real or whatever you want to say about it, it got on TV. It looked to me like a pretty direct slap. So, yeah, I wouldn't be interested in coming back on that stage because now you're like that guy. And people will point a finger at you and be like, yeah, weren't you that dude that got, I don't want to say the B slap word because it's sexist and we don't do that. we don't do that here on the U Show. We're big fans of male and female, so we don't do that here. But, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it either. I don't blame him. I mean, I would want to do it now. Can you imagine, like, the Oscars welcome the host of the Yo Show, Jeff the Shark Marie, probably the greatest Oscars of all time. I really wouldn't care what I would say about entertainers. I'd be kind to them. As you know, if you watch this program, we're kind to our entertainers. Always are. I'm sorry, I'm kind of fiddling with the phone here because you don't get the Facebook comments. So I'm looking. I'm trying to make sure nobody sneaks a comment past the goalie here tonight. You can watch this, of course, on YouTube and Twitch. So hello to the people out there on YouTube. Just search The Yo Show. We will pop up. And Twitch is also The Yo Show on Twitch. And we got some good followers on both. Some of the videos are blowing up. And every week we get a great amount of people who are starting to tune in on both of those networks. This one here, Facebook, of course, the Stoop Radio Network. And if you're not watching live, you're watching recorded. And that's cool, too. We like that also. Make sure you keep watching this. Make us famous. Us and the guys from St. Ricketts and all of our guests that come on. Keep them pumping. The Funko Pops in the background. You cannot miss it. You know what show it is. It's one of a kind of Yo Show. Brand new Eagles hat on. I'm so ready for football season. I don't know about the rest of you. I was going to lay out a prediction thing tonight. But I didn't because there's no predicting live. Turns into ammunition for your friends that like to talk sports and give you smack when you don't predict correctly. Although I do like my Eagles this year. We got a real good ball club. I'm excited for Jalen Hurts. I hope that he can be the man that we need him to be. And A.J. Brown is here this year, and they've added some decent names on defense. So I'm excited for the season. I'm ready to watch some Eagles football every Sunday night. Well, not every Sunday. Like J.D. Wilson, they got a Monday night game this year, and they had some Sunday night games, etc. I'm definitely excited for football. Went out to Five Below, got this cheap little rubbery $5 football just to toss constantly. I also have a lot of stuff on my work desk here, and we sure as hell don't want to destroy any of that. Give that a slam, and I'll toss it off to the side. A little bit later, we'll look at a couple of man cave score stuff, piece I picked up, and some other items. We will, as I said, play some music from some of the bands who've been on our program. Sydney Taylor will be here at 8:30. All mine tonight, solo, just me and Sydney talking the good talk, etc. Like the strobe better. Strobe in the back. Can you see that strobe? You see, well, I guess you can't. Back to front. Let's bring it up. A little strobe light. Now it ain't strobing. Now they say that. There it is. I think the thunder stopped, which is good. You always worry about a power outage. We had one power outage through our years here. Episode 211, year number 5. Thank you very much. But we did have one power outage a few years back, thunder and lightning during the show, and it just took us right off. That's always exciting. Always see the possibility of that happening. We performed one night with a potential hurricane warning, so we do what we got to do. This weekend, I forgot to mention, so we're heading to Nashville, Tennessee. My wife's birthday is coming up. She turns an age that I will not discuss, and we're headed out to Nashville. That's right. So we're leaving Saturday. Going to spend a couple great days in Nashville, where everybody says it is the place to be. Everybody says to check it out. So we're very excited for that. And if you have any ideas of where to go, what to do, feel free to drop in the comment section. If you've ever been to Nashville, a lot of people have. I've heard great things, and it's like the party town. It's kind of taken over for like New Orleans and Vegas, I guess, for a while. So that's pretty cool, and we're excited to get there. My wife says, "Aren't you nervous? Haven't you packed?" No, I haven't. I haven't packed a dang thing. But that's me. I'm a last minute packer. I like working under pressure, if you will. But that is this weekend, and we'll be back Tuesday night. So we'll be a little late for the Yo Show Tuesday night. So I think for the first time ever, well, second time ever, there will be no Yo Show coming at you next Tuesday. Sad. But we got a lot of stuff coming back when we return. So after that Tuesday, we got so many great guests coming back on the program. Nothing to worry about, of course, tonight. Sydney Taylor will be with us in a few moments. A lot of great stuff to talk about. And you can always go back and check out the archives. Like, oh, I missed this one, or I didn't get that one, or oh, I can't catch Sydney tonight. That's fine. YouTube it, The Yo Show. Go to www.theyoshow215.com because we also keep past episodes there. I usually load up a past episode, get it on there, let people watch because there's always great stuff to go on here at the Yo Show. We love Philly. We love celebrating Philadelphia. As you know, we're big fans. Speaking of Philadelphia, let's get to the action. Let's get to the reason that we come here every week, our amazing guest. And this young lady is super cool. She loves her metal music, her rock music. She spent time as a DJ right here at my favorite radio station, 93.3 WMMR. She is the host of her own podcast, Metal from the Inside. And I got to tell you, one of the coolest goddamn women I've ever seen and hope to meet here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Miss Sydney Taylor. Sydney, good evening.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you so much for coming on. And this is just awesome for me. For many reasons. Number one, your love of rock music, because that's what we do here on the show. The fact that you're a DJ, which makes me jealous. I'm trying to get my Sydney Taylor on here tonight, But so many great projects, and you do so much in the world of entertainment. So let's get right to it. First of all, how did you get into being a DJ, and what was that experience like for you? Tell us a little something about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really funny. This all kind of happened totally by accident, as most things do.
Where's my accident now?
A great accident, but it happened by accident. I mean, when I was in college, it's funny, my freshman year of college, I had all my courses lined up, and last minute, one of my courses fell through. And due to that, last minute, like I want to say like 2 weeks or a week before I went to college, I had to fill in a course. And one struck my fancy. It was web radio operations. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Wow.
And I took that. I took this class that we had to have our own radio show. We had to kind of develop our own brand. And naturally, I mean, I love 80s metal. So that's kind of where it went for me. But I started doing interviews there, and then eventually just progressed into I really love doing this. I wrote for a bunch of different publications and then went on to develop the podcast and then ended up at MMR. So it's very weird how everything happened. It totally was eventually on purpose, but initially by mistake. So a great mistake, though.
Absolutely. And it just, to me, like MMR is the epitome of the local rock station because I'm such a big
Yeah.
fan of that kind of music. And I don't listen to anything else around here. No offense to any of the stations. That's like my number one.
Yeah.
What was it like though? Did you get nervous? Did you have a great support? Because this city is great. If they love you, this city is your backbone. What was it like? Like nervous? Was it fun? Did you get energy? Describe your experience.
Yeah, it was the first time I went on the air, it was really funny because I initially kind of knew that I would eventually maybe get on the air, but kind of later on down the road working there, and which I was more than happy with. MMR, as you know, is it has such just a loyal fan base and it has such a legacy. And I knew that I probably wasn't going to be getting on immediately. Well, it was like a month after I started working there, and my program director handed me a piece of paper, and he was like, "So, take a look at page number 3." And it was like our what's it called, our on-air schedule, and there was my name, and I was like, whoa. And so I had like a week and a half to kind of learn the board and kind of figure things out. And yeah, I mean, like anything, like doing anything for the first time, it was definitely nerve-wracking, making sure my mic was up and the right fader was on. And every DJ kind of has stories at first, even, Pierre Aubert. And I remember I kind of fubbed up one night and Brent Porsche was like, yeah, I've been doing this for 50 years and I still do that. So, but it's what I love so much about MMR is that there are just every single person in that studio. I mean, I've been there almost a year, and I mean, they're just my family. Like once you're a part of that family, you're always a part of that family. We had somebody today who came into the studio for like he worked here like 15 years ago, and everybody was just so excited to see him. And it's got this family dynamic. And I knew that no matter what, even though it was my first time, sorry, I'm kind of hopping all over the place, but
No, go ahead. That's fine. That's what we do here.
I remember my like right before my first shift, I had all of these, my program director left me a note on my desk, and my production director left me a note on in his office, and all these people just wishing me luck and not even knowing me for that long. So it was such an incredible experience to do that for the first time, and now to be almost a year into it is crazy. It's been so amazing.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations for that. And like you said, that lucky streak, because sometimes that's what it takes. And if you work hard enough, the lucky breaks seem to come your way easier, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is you seem like you were prepared from the get go because, like I said, your love of the music, and you're not just like, hey, I like this music. You're engulfed in it. You have your own awesome podcast that I've been listening to, Metal from the Inside. I think it's terrific. You do a great job. Your
Thanks.
voice is so great on it too, and you get to interview a lot of good rock stars. Who is the coolest person that you interviewed? And well, let's start off. The coolest person you've interviewed so far.
So most people, when they look at my podcast, Alice Cooper is probably my number one. He was incredible to have on. But one that was obviously a huge deal for people know me. That was an incredible experience. But
Right.
one that really kind of, which may not seem like it was a huge deal to some people, but to me, looking back on my history and my love of music and what I fell in love with rock at an early age, when I got to interview Jolyn Turner, I know that's like kind of a weird pick, but I grew up listening to, at a young age, I heard Jolyn Turner era Rainbow and his work with Yngwie Malmsteen, and I just kind of loved it. And he doesn't really do a lot of interviews. He does some here and there, but he doesn't do a whole lot. And it was a really special moment for me. At this point, this happened back in January of 2021, but it was a really special moment because his manager was like, I took a look at your site, and I took a look. This was way before MMR. I took a look at your site, and you seem to really, know what you're talking about. And I think, you'll have a great conversation with Joe. And the fact that it was somebody that I had grown up and always loved, and then to have, their manager and who kind of handles them say, you look like you're on top of your shit pretty much, was kind of like, all right, this is pretty cool, like it made me feel kind of a really internal kind of like sense of accomplishment, more than a lot of the other ones I had done.
Sure, and that makes sense, and it's awesome because we have PR people to reach out to us and say, "Hey, we have up and coming artists that we'd love to have on your show." We're thrilled by that, but sometimes you dig deeper to get the better ones, and the PR people always say, "We saw the show, we'll do it." And you're like, because
Yeah.
sometimes it gets, podcasting a little more than the regular radio station. You get a
Yeah.
little quirky. Sometimes you stumble. We say, and, I talk about ridiculous topics. My wife says some of the things she says makes her close her ears, doesn't even want to hear it. So, yeah. So when they come out and they listen to your independent piece that you're the full creator of and said, okay, it's good enough to come on, that's got to be pretty
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, it was a really special moment, and there's been so many moments in doing that podcast that I've kind of had to pinch myself, kind of like just going back to, again, what I listened to when I was really getting into this music, and before I even really knew what I wanted to do, let alone be in the music industry, and just loving this music with everything that I have. And, similarly to I know what you guys do, to me, it's always a thrill to be able to speak to those people and kind of ask what fans want to ask, and, kind of be obviously a professional and be somebody who is, the interviewer, but, kind of be the fan for other fans in that sense, if that makes any sense at all. But, there's been so many opportunities. I mean, I had Dee Snider on, which was so cool.
Wow.
I mean, Twisted Sister. It was just it's so many moments that I'm so thankful for, and I'm so thankful to the publicist too, who thought, I was doing well enough, and, gave sometimes 19, 20, 21-year-old person a chance, and it's pretty thankful.
That's awesome. Now, all we ask for is a chance. We're very respectful. I know, kind of like you, we're in it for the artist and the
Yeah.
music. We're not worried about, like, honestly, and I say it a lot, and I think I directed at you and a lot of people. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you pray to, etc. I want to know about the talent, what drives
Yeah.
you, where the music comes from. And a lot of people have respected that, like you as well. And I think that's where we get our strength. And I'm telling you, the last couple of days at lunch, I sat in my car after I ate, before I went back to work, popped on your podcast and listened. And I think it's terrific. You do an excellent job.
Thank you so much. I really truly appreciate that. It's, as you know, it's a labor of love, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
I agree. We do it here, and there's sometimes I'm like, oh man, because I race home from work
Yep.
and I get everything set up, computers, and you do your own PR work. And sometimes I say to my wife, I'm like, that's too much. She's like, you kidding me? You love it. I do love it. There's no money, there's no big time fame, but I love coming on. And even people like you and the magic of social media. And let's talk about the magic of social
Yeah.
media because I was strolling through Instagram, somehow found you, started looking, and I'm like, number one, you have a great overall look about yourself, attractive woman, great feel for, like I said, the industry, that awesome record collection behind you. I'm kind of jealous of as I'm looking. I'm jealous of it. And I look and I'm like, wow, like let's just ask. All you can do is ask, and you were so receptive, and immediately you're like, yes. And I'm blown away by that. And to me, it's awesome. And social media can be such a great help. A little bit of a hurt, but such a great help. How do you feel social media helps you reach out and have, mostly positive in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, social media has its pros and cons, whether that's sometimes distracting me too much with funny videos or something.
Yes, that's definitely there too.
That's,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the one where I'm like, all right, I could probably like go without the dog TikToks for a little bit just because it's screwing with my head. But most part, yeah, I mean, I have in my life, thankfully, as much as I tell myself I would love to, like, obviously go back to the 80s, and like, it's funny because everyone's like, it's obviously way more different with the fact that there is no social media. And luckily for me, I mean, a lot of the connections I've made have been from going to shows and all that as well. But, just being an active person in the genre on social media. I mean, I got one of my first interviews was Jeff Pilson on my radio show in college. And it happened because I messaged him on Instagram and I
Yeah.
said, hey, I'm at the time 17-year-old kid in my freshman year of college, 2 weeks in, and I've never done an interview before, but would you like to come on and talk? And he was very receptive. And I mean, a lot of things have happened that way. And I've met so many amazing people all over the country. And, to know I could go to, so many states and have a friend there and somebody that, loves this music as much as me, or I can go to shows with, I think it's just so special to be able to have that. It's something that obviously the world hasn't experienced before this point in time, but although it's got its cons, I think it's got a lot of pros too. So I give a thumbs up.
Excellent. I agree. And, and people have told me in the past, like, you go to a local artist and you
Yeah.
lay out this message, and some people are like, at first, I thought it was kind of weird. Like, is this real? And they
Yeah.
had to research and make sure it's real. And even when I reached out to you, I'm like, well, here's somebody like at this massive radio station, and I'm going to ask you to come on my little program. And like I said, you probably have done the research like everybody does, so quick to respond. But we enjoy that. Like I said, I'll ask anybody. I've asked lots of the big stars. We've had great stars. Like if you ever watched Shameless,
Yeah.
Steve Howie was on our program in the past, and from the nanny, Madeline Zima. So you get good people, and if you ask them, they
Yeah.
might they might want to inquire first. Like Madeline Zima called me on the phone, talked for a half hour about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to treat her. Did you ever get that? Did you ever have people say, okay, how are you going to act and what's on your mind? Did you ever have people kind of pre-qualify your show?
Um, it's only been a couple of times where I've been asked to like give a set of questions in beforehand, which honestly hasn't, surprisingly enough, has not happened to me too often. I've usually not gotten a lot of submit stuff before, but I've had it a couple times where they submit questions and they kind of get back and go, we're not talking about this, we're not talking about that. I have gotten it in initial kind of requests or confirmations to don't mention list, and you're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it's good to know, and I appreciate publicists who do that, because there's nothing that could probably be worse than getting in an interview and saying something that offends somebody, or it's then that just wreaks kind of havoc, and I'd rather know in advance. So it's happened a couple of times, but honestly, I'm kind of shocked it hasn't happened more. But I mean, I feel like nowadays people can kind of control, not that it's a bad thing, but can kind of, if we don't want to talk about something, especially with artists, like a band breakup or, something specific like that. So I'm, like I said, kind of shocked that more people don't do that. But,
I agree. And in the past, I've reached out and we were close. We had to reschedule because she had a time thing. But Lorraine Lewis, who of course is now with
oh,
Vixen,
yeah.
and I said, Lorraine, what can we not talk about? And the shopping list of things that she did not want coming out of my mouth. I'm like, okay. So I should have just said, what can I say? Because what I couldn't say was probably too long to keep track of. But that's the rock stars. They all have their
Yeah.
beginnings. They have their breakups.
Yeah.
They all got their secrets, I guess, as you know. Um, so you had mentioned the other day that you're signing off of MMR, which makes me very sad because, like I said, I'm a big fan of it. But you have a new project coming up. Is it something you're ready to talk about now? Can we get into this new project you have coming up?
I can hint about it a little bit. Unfortunately, when I tell you I'm like mere days from being able to say something, I'm truly
Ah,
mere
wow.
days, which is very unfortunate. But I'm signing off of MMR for right now. There's been no official goodbyes. It's just for a little while. Long story short, I had an interview come to me that I could truly not pass up. I can say that it involves a tour bus and other things. I can't really give more about it right now,
Wow.
but it's something that's very cool, and I'm very excited to mention it. Like I said, I'm like literally mere days away from being able to say something, so it's killing me. But yeah, it was very hard to even make the decision to leave MMR for a little over a month or whatever. For the time being, there's a lot of stuff up in the air right now. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the place is such a family that it was hard for me to kind of even step away, even if I know it may be for a little bit, or it's not forever for me. But it's again an opportunity I couldn't pass up, and more on it soon.
I'm chomping at the bit. I will share it when it comes up on social media. And I seem to have that timing where I'm always like a day or two before. Um, if you're into the Cobra Kai series, I don't know if you watch Cobra Kai. Okay. So we had Sean Kanan on our show twice.
Okay.
And the last was like right after season 4, and I'm pressing him. Season 5, dude, Mike Barnes. Can't say nothing. I'm like, dude, Mike
Aw.
Barnes, give it to us. I see your workout videos. I see you're doing karate. I don't know much about it. Come on, Sean. And we didn't get it. And a couple weeks later, it got busted out. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have it.
Man, I love Cobra Kai. It is truly so. It's funny that you mentioned that, not to go down like a Cobra Kai rabbit hole,
Oh,
but
that's what we're
I,
here for.
I started this year, literally 2022. I sat my butt on the couch and I watched all because I had not seen Karate Kid 2 or 3 before.
Wow.
I hadn't, and my parents had watched Cobra Kai, and they were like, "You have to watch this. I'm telling you, you have to watch it." So January 1st of 2022, I spent the entire day watching all 3 Karate Kid movies in preparation to start Cobra Kai, and I finished the first 3 seasons in like a week. It was
Wow.
upsetting how fast I went through it. It's coming back September 9th. I'm like so freaking excited.
Great.
I love that damn show. It's so good.
Hey, man, I waited all this time for Mike Barnes. And to talk about Sean Kanan, he's such a
Yes.
great guest, such a cool guy, so down to earth. But I'm stoked for Mike Barnes because he's such a jerk on the show. And, yeah, you want to see how it works with Johnny and Daniel, and I love it. I love every inch of it. So I'm glad you do too. A little something to wrap
Oh
it
yeah.
out there. For all you out there wondering, Sydney's big break is not another spot here on the Yo Show. She's not going to be another co-host. We tried. We didn't have the money. But it's funny if people are tuning in that usually watch and they look real quick, they would think it's Jewel. You do resemble Jewel, who does the show with
Oh.
us. And she was so upset tonight. She had a last minute work thing. And she had, I'll share a little bit of her story. She went to Penn State, did communications, interned at YSP under Danny Bonaducci. Her
Oh.
dream is to be in radio. She's like, oh, I can't wait to talk to Sydney. And then today she's like, you will not guess what happened. So kind of, I'm sure she's
Aw.
broken by it.
Well,
But
we'll have to connect at some point. I'd love to talk to her because we can talk all about the radio stuff. I totally know YSP. A bunch of people at MMR have worked there, come from there, so I'm very familiar.
very cool. And that, like I said, it's been her dream. Kind of how I found her because a friend of mine said, "Hey, my boyfriend's sister is, the communications degree. She wants to get in it. She'll be anywhere just to be on like a talk and talk music." I'm like, "Hey, I got this show with no salary and horrible hours," and she's like, "I'm in." So there we
I love
are.
it.
the the feeling in the studio when you're in the studio is, I mean, that like an MMR. Are there a lot
Yeah.
of people in the building? I always had this weird feeling that you'd be there by yourself and with like a producer in this big empty building. Is it filmed? Like, is it like a scary thing to be there late at night, or?
Um, at first it was because I had never, I mean, this is the first gig I've ever done. I've done, I've worked jobs where I've had to work late and stuff like that, but this was the first one where I was working. My job started at midnight and I was coming home when the sun went up.
Yeah.
So at first it was a little, all right, I'm in this building, like people know where this is. I don't know how I feel about, and you get used to it honestly very quickly. And it's funny because a lot of the times I was really never alone because Jackie Bam Bam, who's on the air 7 to midnight before me, will stay next door for the entire night working on his show for the next night.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, he's truly what he says about being a vampire is 100% true. But so I was never really alone. I would always just like if I, had a question or popped over or anything, I could just literally hop over to the next studio and he'd be there. So, it was really not too bad getting used to it, but it's definitely at first it was like, okay, being here at 3:30 in the morning is a little different.
Yeah.
I was like always made sure the studio door was closed,
Yeah.
like psyching myself out.
So I guess it's pretty much how I always thought. I'm like, you're kind of there alone, maybe
Yeah.
a few people, and you just never know. So, okay, that if anybody's out there that wants to hire me, I need the morning shift, please. Please, lots of security, morning shift. That's great stuff. So I ask people a lot of questions. This question a lot. We talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
You being a music lover, I'm sure you like concerts. What did you do during the pandemic? Because you really couldn't do a lot of stuff. You couldn't get out and see shows. We actually got a ton of feedback here. A lot of people were watching because we were the only thing that was new and
Yeah.
fresh. So thousands of people were watching us. How did you cope through that, not being able to get out and enjoy music?
Man, it was like, I'm sure it was for you and for any music lover. It was so difficult. It was, looking back on it, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that again. With
Right,
the no
once,
love
yeah,
shows. Yeah, I'm like it was tough. But I mean, for me, I spent a lot of time rewatching, live concert DVDs that I had, listening to live albums that I had. And it was a really good time, like you were saying, for you guys. Because I started my podcast like 2 months before the pandemic happened or really kicked in. And so I kind of spent that entire year, or a year and a half, really throwing myself into that. And, as I'm sure there was a lot of people that were home and a lot of people that were willing to talk. And, people who might not have been available before because they were, out on the road all the time or whatever. So, in a weird way, to start a podcast, it was the perfect time to be able to do that. But that was kind of how I coped with it, I guess. I mean, I got to talk to a lot of people that I, maybe would have been seeing their show or, that kind of thing. So throwing myself in that and having something else music related to do and to kind of focus on and to kind of throw my passion in was very helpful. But I mean, there's truly nothing, no live album or no live DVD, unfortunately, can ever really truly replace what it's like in real life. But
absolutely.
yeah.
I seen that on our Facebook feed that Jewel did pop in. So Jewel, hello, good evening. I'm glad you got a chance to watch us as she's kind of playing hooky from work. So I think she works mostly from home, computer stuff, and she's got
Right.
to be on. But sad she can't be here. But we will. I mean, our door's always open. We would love to invite you back, especially if this new
Yeah.
announcement comes and come talk about that and get to meet Jewel. And there's a million and one things that she would like to ask you as well. Um, who are some of your favorite bands? Like I know you got a lot, but who are like some? If we always do top five lists on the show here, let's go top
Yeah.
three. Top three bands that you live for, that you want to see, talk to, whatever it takes. Three bands right now, and I'll give you my three afterwards. We'll see how close.
So Alice Cooper is my number one. He always
Oh,
has been, always will be. That is a forever choice for me, without fail. Number two, Dawkins, kind of
yes,
random band, but I remember hearing them. I have, like you were talking about, my record collection. I
oh,
bought a lot of this, but a lot of this, some of them were from my parents' old collection, and I remember I was going through their vinyl and I came across their album Under Lock and Key, and I put it on and I heard the song The Hunter, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, and I was just hooked. I love everything Dawkins. I love them so much. So they're my number two. And number three is it's so difficult. After my number two, it just becomes like impossible to rank for me.
sure.
But I would probably have to say David Bowie.
Wow, all right.
Which David Bowie for me was really my main catalyst into kind of getting into rock music on my own. I got, at a very young age. I mean, I kind of grew up with my parents playing rock, and I'm thankful for all that I know because a lot of it came from them, and them just playing everything that I now love around the house. But I had seen Labyrinth, the 80s movie with David Bowie,
Yeah,
when I was about 5 years old. And I know for a lot of people, that's kind of like the gateway drug for David Bowie. It's like,
right.
yeah, people see that movie and they're like, oh my God, love David Bowie. So that was what it was like for me. And I was 5 years old, and my parents got me like the best of Bowie on CD. I listened to it at night. When I was listening to the radio, I would listen to that CD. And so, you know, I definitely have other bands that I might listen to a little bit more frequently than I do David Bowie nowadays, but he's always a regular in my playlist. I mean, he's always kind of one of my first musical loves, or my first musical love, so I have to say him for sure.
That's great. I actually did get a chance to see him. Nobody says it doesn't count. There was a show where he opened for Nine Inch Nails, and he
Uh,
kind of became tried his hand at like industrial. If you're like that doesn't count, but
it
it's Belly on
counts.
stage. It rained like hell, and I sat through that whole show. I did not. I was on the lawn. I didn't care. It was Bowie. It was Nine Inch Nails, two of my favorites. I did not care. Nine Inch Nails for me is one of my legendaries. I love them. I've seen them a few times. They're on the list. Of
Yeah.
course, like I said, I saw Korn the other night. They're definitely on my list. And um, I saw whatever was left of Led Zeppelin. And Led Zeppelin's been my band. Like I said, as a kid, my brothers in their room was Led Zeppelin and Kiss. So I became huge fans. Been a Kiss fan all my life. Like I said, you hear it around the house. You grow up with it.
Yeah.
You grow to love it.
Yeah, that's what it's been like for so many artists. I really truly thank my parents so much because from the moment, like the kind of story that I always tell people is my parents were very particular about what song they were going to play in the car on the way home from the hospital with me. They played me a Beatles song, and to this day, it's funny. It's my favorite Beatles song that they played, and that's kind of just how much that they cared about what they were exposing me to, and over the years, I was listening to Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and Dio and Osbourne and Black Sabbath. For as long as I can remember. I would sit in the back of my parents' car, and my two favorite songs were "Shot in the Dark" by Ozzy Osbourne and "No One Like You" by the Scorpions.
Oh,
So,
Shot in the
it's
Dark is
oh
tremendous. Tremendous.
so good. So, I thank my parents, and I know that a lot of people kind of have the experience, whether it's rock or jazz or soft rock or whatever it is. I'm so thankful that my parents helped teach me the good stuff.
Great. So let me throw a couple names at you. And I know
Yeah.
being in the business and being as you are, you can't say it so much, but give us a little something. You mentioned the Beatles. I am not a fan. Are you a big fan?
I don't want to tell you that I'm a massive fan, but I do love the Beatles. I think that um, when it comes to just how instrumental they were to this field and to this genre, almost every band that I've ever loved was inspired by watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. It's just so iconic. So I'm definitely not going to sit here and say that I put on the Beatles all day every day, but there are times I have a couple of it, like the Blue album, and I have you know uh Let It Be, the original copy that my grandparents had, and I'll
Wow.
yeah, from like
Yeah.
in 60 68. uh so there are definitely times where I'm feeling it, and I throw a record on my turntable or on my headphones or whatever. But
You shut your mouth. Ozzy's not
he
about it. Get
was
at it.
he was
I
inspired
hate
by
it
the
when you
Beatles.
know.
Yes, he was. That's one of the people I was thinking about. He always talks about Ed Sullivan.
It
um
broke my heart to see that. Now, part two of this, I'd like to run it past you, somebody
yeah.
who knows so much about music. Everybody said the Beatles brought it to America. They were first. The Beach Boys were already here. Don't you think it's the same exact thing? The Beach Boys kind of had it first, or do you think it's totally night and day? Because I always see the Beach Boys before the Beatles. You're insane.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point, and I can see where you're coming from with that point. I think that if
It's
you
an
look
anti-Beatles point, by the way.
I think that if you look at the Beach Boys and the Beatles, if you want to compare them, I think that the Beatles maybe had a little bit more variety than we had seen at that point. You had, although obviously I'm definitely not discounting the Beach Boys by any means. Some of the greatest first, kind of entrance into like, modern day rock that we know of. But I feel like maybe the Beatles had a little bit more variety. They had a little bit of a different kind of evolution than the Beach Boys did. I don't know if maybe it was the fact that they were British and they came over and it was a huge, I don't know. Again, not living in that time, it's kind of hard to think of like what it was about that really caused everybody to just freak out. So I don't know if that was a part of it, or I don't really know, but I think that is a good point. They were definitely
The hair.
like the hair, yeah, uh, kind of like the American Beatles in a sense. So I definitely see where you're coming from. It's a valid point for sure.
I love that discussion. Two more names I want to hit you with.
Yeah.
Um, we're talking about modern music. Everybody's got their opinion. I know I love them. Greta Von Fleet. Yes for you or copycatish to you? And you can be honest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to like
I know because you're like I said, doing what you're doing. You don't have to get too brutal with it, but
I mean, I think there are definitely times where I've listened to Greta Van Fleet and I do enjoy it. I don't, I definitely don't. For me personally, I don't throw them on myself too often. We do play them on MMR, and there are songs that I have heard that I do like. I do think that I would like it a little bit more if they had kind of come out and just said that they were inspired by Led Zeppelin. I was a little, truth be told, a little turned off by them saying that they weren't influenced by Led Zeppelin.
yeah,
A couple of years ago, that was a big like for me. So I'm definitely not, by any means, I don't not totally like them, but for me, they're not out of kind of the list of modern day bands that I listen to on a regular basis and I really love. They're not super high on that list for me personally, but
okay. See,
yeah.
that's a great answer without digging. Last one.
Yes.
This is a tough one to ask, and these like came to mind a couple days ago, and I remember them now. This is tough. 2022's version of Vince Neil. Is it over for Vince Neil? Honestly, as a music person.
Yeah. If we want to take a look at Motley Crue as a whole, I saw the stadium tour. It was a fun show. It was a good time. It was definitely to have all of those bands together. I mean, for me, it was like an 80s, 80s dream. I had seen Motley Crue on the final tour a couple years ago, and it's funny. I had just moved recently, and I still have the original poster for the final tour in
Wow.
2014. That I'm like,
Wow.
that must be worth some money now because I can't do anything with it at this point. But I mean, what I always say about singers, I feel like sometimes we hold them to, especially the singers from that time. There are a lot of singers that I love, if you want to mention, like David Coverdale, or who
Oh,
obviously can't 100% do what they did in the 80s. I think sometimes it's an unrealistic expectation for people to think that somebody who recorded these songs almost 40 years ago can come out on stage 40 years later and somehow sound like the record. So, I mean, yeah, if you listen to Vince Neil, it's not straight, you're not ripping it off of the Shout at the Devil master. But, it's 40 years later, and, if they want to get it out there and they want to do it, and he feels like he's physically able to do it, I mean, more power to him. I just think that people sometimes are a little too harsh, or just kind of need to keep in mind that, like, people age, things happen, it's a lot to expect somebody to get out there and be like, sound like you're 25.
I
It's
agree. I
it's a
agree with
little unrealistic, but I'm still a little pissed about that 2014 tour, but I'm gonna sell my poster, I'll make the money back, so it's all
you. There
fine.
you go. I mean, it's just everybody was working out, getting in shape, and here comes Vince out like 300 pounds. You're like, come on, Vince. Well, effort. Um, there was one, well, not really one more. So, concerts, we all have our dream ones. And I'm not overly familiar with the music of Ramstein. I know a few of their songs.
Mhm.
I landed tickets tomorrow night, and everybody said this is like a once in a lifetime. I'm excited for that. I actually can't wait to get there, and I'm told it's going to be a show to change my life. Is there a one bucket list show, somebody you wish you would have seen, somebody you hope to see? Who's the one band that you said, no matter what, I've got to see it?
Do you Now this is a question. I still have the chance to see, or that I no longer have the chance to see?
Let's say somebody you do have the chance to see now. I mean, who you wanted to see, it's Freddie Mercury, close the door, it's everybody's. I
Yeah,
wish I
yeah.
could have seen, yeah. But somebody you had the chance to see.
Hmm. Oh my god, this is tough. There have definitely been a couple. Now I'm like, now that you asked this question, all the ones that I've like, that flown out of my mind.
It's usually how it happens.
Crap. Give me a second.
Sure, I'll give you. Well,
There have definitely been a couple where I'm like, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. So, I did have the chance to see it. It technically wasn't not that it was anybody's fault that I didn't see it, but I technically had the chance to see it. Now I can no longer see it. So it's a little bit of both, but I had the chance to see it. So back in 2009, I was still young. I was only 9 years old in 2009. And and my we were on a family vacation in New Jersey, and my dad is a huge Dio fan. I grew up listening to Dio, and he was playing I want to say like a half an hour away. And my dad wanted to take me and my brother and kind of have the experience, but it was family vacation, and at that point I wasn't like a super die hard all things metal person yet. It was, if I went I would have known the music, but it wouldn't be like it is now.
Right.
My dad was like, we're having another chance to see him. It's no worries. We're on vacation. It turns out that Dio show was the last ever show that he ever played.
Oh my God.
And my dad to this day still, my poor father, because I mean he has a huge tattoo of on his arm. He kicks himself in the ass every time he thinks about
Yeah.
it. So I mean, there were, I could have seen it. I couldn't probably have gotten myself there at that time, but it's one that I'm like, I wish I could have been able to see him in some capacity. He's one that I'm really bummed I'll never get to see.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I never saw Black Sabbath either, being a huge fan, and
Yeah,
they came back together a few times. Dio, that's huge and that's tough and
yeah.
kind of sad I brought up the question.
No,
He's
no.
like
I
a
mean
deep wound.
that's I mean that was like the perfect example I think of like, oh, you just sometimes you just miss things. Like it's hard though, and that's something else the pandemic taught me, is that it's like I will never not go to another show again. If I have the means, or I can get a ticket somehow, or I'm able to go, I will go every time. Not that I didn't really pass up shows before anyway, but there were times, like anything, you think I'll catch them the next time, or I'm just hanging out with a friend that or whatever it may be. But it's really taught me, like, don't just get the ticket.
Absolutely, get the ticket. I'm all about it, and we've been fortunate enough to have a good friend of ours give us some free tickets for
Yeah,
promotions this season. So we saw like the Goo Goo Dolls. Like I said, we saw Corn, which was
right.
amazing. That's my fifth time with Corn. My wife's first, but
Wow.
she loved it. Uh, Rob Zombie again. So yeah, go out and
Yeah.
do it. One more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Queen with Adam Lambert. I have watched videos. I know what I think of it. What do you think of it?
Um. So I mean, obviously, there is no replacing Freddie Mercury.
True.
Um. I think that it goes back to people knowing what to expect. And I think sometimes people think it's going to be like it, or, I understand what people mean when, he might be trying to be Freddie Mercury, or, try to, but I mean, if you're singing for Queen and you're asked to sing for Queen, you kind of have to approach it with how, Queen songs are sung. I look at, I look at any of this stuff, and I mean, I've spoken to musicians who have had to try to fill in the shoes of other singers in other capacities, maybe in smaller groups or smaller bands or whatever. And like anything, if you were asked to sing for Queen, you are not going to say no. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't blame Adam Lambert for being like, yeah. And, I mean, I don't really blame Brian May either for, still wanting to sing those songs. I mean,
Sure.
I know Freddie died, quite a bit ago at this point, and maybe earlier, earlier than everybody obviously was expecting, but maybe earlier than Brian and them expected to stop having to play music. So I mean, I don't even necessarily blame them for wanting to still play it, but I think, like, we kind of go back to the Vince Neil thing, that sometimes people are expecting it's either going to be just like Freddie Mercury singing, or that he's being too much like Freddie. And I think sometimes it's hard to have a happy medium for everybody. There's always going to be differing opinions no matter how you slice it. So I don't mind it. I've never seen him. I've never seen Queen with Adam Lambert. I've seen some videos here and there, but I do know a bunch of people who enjoy it. So I don't know.
Well, power to them. I think it's good. I think it does a good job, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's not authentic. I got to tell you, I enjoyed every moment tonight because your musical insight just tickles me. I love it. I love music, and I love somebody that can talk it so articulately like yourself. It is tremendous. I had an absolute blast. Unfortunately, I'm going to let you go, but before I let you go, obviously, I want to ask if you would do it again with us and come on again because we would love to have
Absolutely.
you.
I would love to. I would love to come on and talk to Jewel and talk all things YSP and radio and all that stuff. And hopefully by then I'll also be able to, I will by then be able to share with you what I've got coming next. So I'd love to do it again.
Awesome, and you're always welcome to even do a co-host spot sometime. We're not getting
Yay!
rid of
I
Jewel. We
love
love
you.
Jewel, but uh,
We'll never replace you, Jewel. Don't worry about it.
she is unreplaceable. There was a time way back she's like, "You trying to replace me?" Never. We are like a yin and yang. It's a great team. It's like I call her sister from another mister, and
Love that.
because she's wonderful and much like yourself, you two remind me of each other so very much, and that's a great compliment. For everybody out there, you can find Sydney Taylor on Instagram at Sydney Anna Taylor, Twitter at S Taylor Official. Don't forget to check out Metal from the Inside podcast. I found it on Anchor. Is it still mostly Anchor? Is like the best spot?
Yeah, you can find it on Anchor. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so kind of the main streaming services. And we're also on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, pretty much wherever you can listen, you can find us.
Remember the big boys play. But again, like I said, if you're a fan of music of any sort and the great artists behind it, um, check out the podcast. It's terrific. You do a great job at it. Your voice is very engaging, and it's a great conversation. Metal from the inside. Sydney Taylor, thank you so very much for tonight. I had a blast. It's been 40 minutes. Usually we say 30 minutes, it's been 40, and I swear I didn't. If I didn't look at the clock, I could talk to you till midnight. I had such a blast. Thank you so much for tonight, and we'll talk real soon. Good luck in your future endeavor, and when it comes out, we'll bring you back and we'll chat about it.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It was such a blast, and I really appreciate you asking me to be on. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great night. Sydney Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave the scroll on the bottom for a little bit so you know where to find her. I'll click her out there, which I hate to do. I hate to remove things because it means that they leave us. But absolutely a charming individual, very smart young lady, just great at what she does. And her passion for music is kind of what we have here. Great passion for music, and you can feel it. And it's a while, like there's, I always write down questions, and there's some that I didn't ask her that I wanted to, but you get so wrapped up in the conversation, just the straight talk, and that's what me and Jewel do. It's a conversation. We're talking to people about their loves, their goals, their drives, and then we start talking about music and hear somebody who's big in the game and their insight in it. Man, I could sit there and talk music all night long. Sydney Taylor, of course, once again, you can find her on Instagram at Sydney Anna Taylor, Twitter at S Taylor Official, the Metal from the Inside podcast, Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you check this young lady out. She's definitely worth it. She is terrific. Woo! I got a breath, but deservedly so. She was awesome. I said we're going to do some topics. We'll get to some topics. We talked about Chris Rock, of course. Talked about the Washington Commanders. Aaron Rodgers is next in the news, and again with football season coming around. So Aaron Rodgers, and there's a lot of people who do not like Aaron Rodgers for his decisions about the COVID vaccines and his choice. And some people call him a liar. Some people call him selfish. Some people call him a hero. And again, he was very adamant about why he didn't. He took to the Joe Rogan show the other day, and I wanted to play a clip of it, but again, we don't. There's some things that maybe we don't want coming out on our show that Rogan will take on. And Rodgers pretty much said, look, the NFL sent out these kind of slimy individuals, one to each team, to kind of talk about how you had to. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it is JoJo. Mwah, hello. Thank you so much for popping in. I miss you. We'd love to have you back on the program again soon and talk some more great stuff, comics and the pops, and talk about what's going on in your world and your show and your gaming. Truly a lovely individual. Thank you for popping in. It means the world to me. You're awesome. But again, like Roger said, that the NFL is more like, hey, let's get everybody complacent, and hey, let's get everybody getting that vaccine shot, and kind of a way to make everybody on the same page. And Rogers was like, look, dude, Thank you, JD Wolf. I appreciate it. You are the man. Um, love that you come on. And Rogers is like, I don't have to get this shot. I'm a football player, and we're not role modeling this vaccine, etc. And Rogan went out and they had a great talk about it. If you're into the Joe Rogan show, check it out. It'll do you more justice to watch it than for me to try to explain it. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's a real gamer and competitor. The COVID vaccine is everybody's choice. Everybody had a choice. I don't care how many people say it was crammed down their throat. It was to do certain things in life, to move to a certain level, but nobody ever once came to your house, put a gun to your head, and said, "Let's go vaccine time." So he chose not to. He's got his reasons. He speaks about it to Joe Rogan. Really great interview. And I'm with the Aaron Rodgers. I love me some Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying his views are my views, but very cool. Excuse me. I'm very excited for tomorrow night. Again, Ramstein, if you haven't heard. I'm super excited. I heard this is like the concert of all concerts, and I don't really speak German, so I won't know a lot of what they're saying, but that's okay. Music is there. The music's great. It's been a great season for concerts, like I said. Oh, awesome. Great interview. I caught what I could. Next time I will be there. And I'm telling you, Jewel, Sydney Taylor is like Jewel 2.0. I felt like you were here because she's so you and her passion is there and all that and the two of you look alike and you're both super cool people who really know how to talk about their passions. Awesome. Um, that'd be great. We would love to do it. Maybe another Wednesday night program, Joe. I'll be in touch and bring you back. We had so much fun the first time. Uh, she came on with us and we interviewed Paul Scordino, who at the time was the Guinness Book of World Record holder for Funko Pops. We had a great night talking about Funko Pops. Just had a blast on the program. Um, so, like I said, Tuesday nights is Jewel. Wednesday nights we bring in different guest co-hosts. We've had nothing but just great people come on. And Jewel, like I said, Sydney says she's definitely down to come back and do it sometime. Yeah, it did look. There was times I was just kind of looking off to the side, looking back, and it just felt like home because she's so very much you, and she wants to come on again and talk about radio station talk. We mentioned your time at YSP and Bonaducci, and she was saying how MMR is so great, like a family, and she knows YSP people as well. So that'll come up. That'll be coming up soon. We would love to do that, and of course we missed Jewel tonight. A little bit of work obligations. Some things do come first, so we understand completely. We miss you, and a lot of missing tonight. I miss JoJo. I miss Jewel. I don't miss JD Wolf because he's always here. I love you, brother. um, right. A lot of people, I'm sure, were like, and if you tuned in late, you're probably like, "Hey, Jewel looks a little different tonight." And then, right? And that's a compliment to both of you because both beautiful women. Sydney Taylor is beautiful and smart and just so worldly in music. Like Jewel is. Jewel really has the passion, and when she gets into music and starts talking about it, it's like True Grit. By interviewing Jewel, I'd like to do that sometime. That'd be pretty cool. We should all interview each other sometime. Have random people and just chat away. So what I want to do, I want to play some music and a little bit of space filler maybe because I'm by myself tonight and I can only listen to my voice for so long. But another reason why is I've grown to love these guys. A few weeks back on our program, the amazing local band Poeta was our special guest, and I have gotten to be so tight with George Powell from Poeta, the drummer. We've hung out, we've talked, we've bounced ideas off each other, and I just love his band. They got new music coming out soon. They already asked about coming back on the show after the new album drops September 5th. So I thought, you know what? Let's reintroduce some folks to Poetic, those who may have missed that episode. And this is their great song, Stella. I'm going to load it up here. There it is. It's loaded up. I'm back. We're going to play that here on the Yo Show. It's our good friends from Poeta. Now, remember, Facebook land, we do not own the rights to this music. However, Poeta does. So stop saying copyright infringement because Poeta wants us to play their music right here. This is Stella by the great local band Poeta here on the O Show. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the awesome Poeta local band Stella is the song, and they have a brand new album and a premiere coming September 3rd at 5 p.m. 77 Monmouth Street in Red Bank, New Jersey. It's the Stella Luna album release show. They got their own beer can for them for the release. Great guys from Poeta, George Powell and Company. George, love you, man. Hope to see you soon. And of course, support local music. I don't need to say it, but I'll post it anyway. Support local music. God damn it. We're going to play another song or two from other bands. Before we leave the air tonight, it is 9:20, so we're moving along nicely. We had a great chat tonight with Sydney Taylor. I adore her. It is like, it was kind of like being here with Jewel. As I mentioned to Jewel, who is working, and we do miss her, and we'll have her back next week. Speaking of next week, as I said, I will be in Nashville. So there actually is no program next week. I can't believe it. Something I never thought I would ever do. But there is actually no program next. Wait a minute. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? All right? Wrong. Right? Wrong. Right? Wrong. Wrong. Right? Wrong. Right? What the hell am I doing? Hey, September 6th was supposed to be Vinland. I messaged them to try to reschedule. No luck. That's next week. But we got a lot of great stuff coming on. And I kind of messed up the banner. So let me fix the banner too before I bring it out. It's going to mislead and get anybody on the wrong dates and have people that are going to watch and not see certain people. We'll fix that. Look at this massive technology. If you're watching out there in MMR land, this is what you need, a guy who can fix on the fly. Number of people playing in Nashville. I haven't quite looked yet. I'm going to check that out. I would love to see anybody from the program out there in Nashville. We're going to check around and do a little looking and see if we can come up with somebody and catch a picture as well and hear some great music because, as you know, we have great bands here. That's all we do. But coming up on the program, when we return September 13th, we have an awesome country singer, Savannah Lee. She's lovely, and she's going to be on the program on the 13th. September 20th, a great rock star, Sergio Michel. He was brought to us by the BA Sisters. He said, I know the BA Sisters. I've watched their stuff. I'm friends of theirs, and they mentioned this show. He's coming on the 20th. That's going to be great. 27th, Scott Gardner, another great talent from Impact PR, singer and dancer, and it's going to be great. Good-looking guy, too, ladies. Get ready for that one. One for the ladies for a change. October 4th, one for everybody. Local, a terrific singer and songwriter, Laura Cheadle, comes back to the O Show on the 4th. October 11th, the wonderful actor, Miss Caitlin Weiler, or Jonas. Very excited for that. October 18th, singer Meg Russell. So just some great, great performers, singers, etc. And we're announcing this new one tonight. Tuesday, November 1st, we're going to be joined by another great singer who I found through the magic of social media. She's super cool. Bella Kelly is her name. She'll be here November 1st on the Yo Show as we continue to bring you great acts, great artists. And we have a lot of great stuff to wrap up the summer, come out in the spring. As I said, don't forget Sharon Lee is going to be on the program with us to talk about Ladies Who Rock for a Cause in a few weeks. Very excited for that as well. Just so much great stuff going on. And after last week, like I said, with Hollywood Gods and Monsters and just the praise from guys like Diggity Dave Aragon, you know, the momentum that you get, and it gets you, and it's like addictive. Like it's hard to go to bed at night. You know, just we have so much energy after all this great stuff goes on. And again, the little clip and the great things that Dave said, Diggity Dave, he even said it was weird if somebody calls me Dave. There's also a clip available on YouTube, thanks to Jewel. So check out the Yo Show on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out everywhere. Congratulations to the city of Philadelphia. Once again, the poll has voted us #1 as the most rudest city in America. Rudest or misunderstood? I'm going misunderstood. Because if you're a Philly person, we love you. We're all about you. And we kind of stick together. If you're an out-of-towner, okay, perhaps you're rude. But congratulations, Philly. Again, #1 as the most rudest city in America. The city of New York, I'm talking about rude. Excuse me. If you're in New York, you're going to get carded to buy canned whipped cream. That's right. That delicious ready whipped stuff they spray out of the can. Yep. Can't do it in New York anymore without an ID because, well, it could lead to bad things. It could be used for bad things. Ridiculous. Stop it. It's whipped cream, for God's sakes. Maybe like, can you imagine? Like a pack of cigarettes. I like some bullets from a gun. I like some condoms. Playboy magazine. Okay, is there anything else? Oh, yeah, and some ready whip. Mom! I need to see your ID. Can you just imagine? Just crack myself up there. It was actually very funny. Yeah, so that's going on. June 1st November, if you're playing the National, I'm going to keep an eye out. Don't forget, tomorrow night, if you're a friend of mine on social media, get ready for some Rammstein video, as I'll be there tomorrow night. I have really super excited for this. I heard great things about it. I'm like, it's a concert I'm never going to see, and then luck out to these tickets. So pretty pumped up for tomorrow night. So like I said, we like to get to concerts, talk about concerts, and as you heard earlier, Sydney Taylor said, now you realize after COVID, you get a chance, do it. Spend that money, get that ticket, take that trip, see that band, and we're definitely all about it. Kind of sad I'm not going to be in town to see Poeta's album debut show, but we'll get back together with them. Like I said, I've, hang out with George, and he's a super cool dude, and we love it. Did I see the VMAs? I did not see the VMAs. I usually don't watch. You know my thing about award shows. I can't get that into Taylor Swift either. I'm sorry. I know that's taboo. I don't like her. I don't like VMAs. To me, MTV sold out years ago. Now they try to be music again. It doesn't work for me. It just I'm sorry. I know you're not. I don't have to see your face while you're messaging and sending me these things, so I can talk candidly. I don't like award shows. I don't like MTV award shows, and I don't like Taylor Swift unless she comes on the Yo show. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're actually on the same page. It takes Jewel to not be here to be on the same page. Well, even Eminem's performance. That's weird because you are like the quintessential diehard Eminem fan. So for you to say it wasn't really working is a little surprising. And the NFTs, I'm not about any of that at all. I'm not in it. Um, Funko Pop gets in NFTs. You know, I'm not into that stuff. I don't dig that. It definitely is taken away from anything collectible, etc. I know you're not a Taylor Swift fan. You're a huge Eminem fan. So for you to say it wasn't good leads me to believe I did not miss a lick. Hmm. Sorry, I get my drink and then very, very dry tonight. Very hoarse. I think everybody that did tune in tonight, Sydney Taylor, amazing. And like I said, um, actually one of a very unusual Tuesday off next week. So I think I'll promote a show for everybody to watch, like a best of kind of thing, and kind of promote stuff that people can watch. I'm down for Yo Show Awards. We talked about that before. Um, Another podcast group does it, but I think Yo Show Awards is totally in it. We'll come up with some categories too, and some great people and do that. As you know, 30th. Uh, September 30th is National Podcast Day. Jewel and myself, the O Show, have been invited to join a terrific big weekend by my good friend, Mr. Jeff Ravilla, and he's doing a massive kind of like podcast event to celebrate this format and how people come out and have their shows and talk and do their thing. So we're pretty proud to be a part of that. Anything we do with me and Jewel, I absolutely love. Stephanie likes the idea, Yo Show Awards. I like it as well. We can either maybe poll the audience and have them come up with winners, or Jewel and I can just pick categories and come up with winners, etc. It's a great idea. There's a lot of things I've kicked around. I've kicked around tattoo contest. We've kicked around the fantasy football league, which we almost had. We came close to it. It's actually going to fizzle this year, unfortunately. But there's a lot of great ideas. We just love doing stuff, and especially stuff that's interactive with guests. We love that. And well, I have Stephanie here. Jewel, I'm going to give Jewel a little bit of envy here. Give me a moment. Little music to scroll phones by. And yeah, Jewel, here it was at Corn. There's me and Cassie and Steph and Mike. We got to see them at the Corn concert before they went to the pit. Thanks for that. Now they had pit tickets. My wife is not a pit person. I get that. Another reason to dress up. Of course, I'm down. I love dressing up on the program. 300. I was thinking today how far away 300 is. We're at like 211. So it's like 89 episodes away. That's close to 2 years worth of episodes. And it's not going to be that young. We are very attractive people. Steph, you are easily tied for second best looking person in that picture. I am first. The rest of you are all very solid second. Kidding. Lovely group of people. My wife and Steph and you guys are just awesome. Julia, I'm going to say you missed it too, because not only did we get to the show and have a great time, pre-show we got to meet our good buddy Kenny Sheffel, who of course works for Live Nation. We went over to his group and they had shrimp and we were sharing some beer and like a big tailgate thing. Like we pre-gamed down at Chickies and Pete's down in South Philly right after Steph left their shift. It's actually funny, Steph, your manager said you were bugging to get out of there. Hilarious. I know you were because you had the show. We pre-gamed and had some drinks and then a drink or two in the parking lot. And then Kenny said, come meet my group. And it was awesome. A great group, we had a fun time in the parking lot. Then we got inside, ran into Steph, and we took some pictures, and then got to the show, and I drank some more and got a little messy. And we went from, hey, let's go out afterwards to after the show, and we're like, yeah, let's go home. And my wife's like, I said, Steph, let's go out. And I passed out ice cold in the car, man. I was out like a light. Although I did stop and get one of those hot dogs from the hot dog vendor. Terrific. You ever hit a show in Camden? Afterwards, find one of them hot dog vendors. Best damn hot dog you'll ever eat. But we'll all get to there soon, Jewel. Me, you, and Steph, and Cass, and a whole bunch of us. You know, there's a lot of stuff to be done and a lot of time to do it. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. Hell, I wish I could find a way to pack his own and take his to Nashville. It's going to be a great time. But that's what we love. I love people. I love hanging out with great people. We have some great people in our lives. And people who choose to exit our lives, there's the door, man. I will show you the door if you don't want to be part of it because it kicks ass. We do great things. My wife does great things. She tuned in tonight. She was out. She got home right before the show started. And I was running around, setting it up, getting cameras ready. And she's like, yeah, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I ain't got time. But I made time for a little kiss. A little kiss. And then a little kiss for luck. Yeah, so very excited. Cassie said that you responded, and that's awesome. Apparently, it's a girls' night, so yours truly probably won't be there. Although Cassie's like, well, I kind of wanted you to be there, but that's okay. If it's a girls' night, that's perfectly fine. And she's excited for it. She turns a very special age. Still not near as old as me, but she turns a special age. So when she gets back, that's going to happen. We've been talking about Halloween. We used to have great parties here. I don't know if we're going to do it this year, but we'd still like to get something together for Halloween because that's my favorite holiday. It's coming up. Jewel, I've been sending out emails and trying to get us a special guest for Halloween. Of course, we love Lydia Manson, but I know she does a lot of her own shows. So thank you. That is heartfelt. See ya. Thank you. Heartfelt, ladies and gentlemen. Jewel Krugos tells me to go F myself right here on the program without even sitting in the seat. Thank you. No, I'm all about it. I'm about if it's a girls' night thing, I'm all about that. And you know, a very happy birthday coming soon to my wife. I'm excited for her. We're excited for this trip. I got to start packing. I don't want to bring in. I do pack. No offense. I pack like a woman. I do overpack, and I enjoy that though. Yeah. Well, this is it. So you get to babysit Cassie while I sit in the comfort of my room. I'll be keeping a close enough eye on her in Nashville. It's going to be a busy one. It's going to be a crazy one. I really don't know which one of us is going to watch each other, but it promises to be terrific. We're going to do. I'm going to do another song if you don't mind. And the reason why we played Poeta, we've been trying to get these two bands together, Poeta and Moonroof, because they remind me a lot of each other. Moonroof was a special guest on our show a little while back, and they're a great band, and they keep doing great things. And we talked a lot about trying to get a little show together. And every time Poeta comes up with something, I'm like, hey, how about Moonroof? So they've been kind of keeping in touch with one another, and maybe a day will come very soon where they can link up and do something great together. This is a song from them called Vanilla. I love this song. I love this band. I think they're super cool guys. We're going to play for you real quick here on the Yo Show and come back in a few minutes. So enjoy Vanilla by our good friends. Whoops, what the heck happened there? Our good friends at Moonroof. Be right back.
So, you sure this is the place, right?
Yep. This is the place.
And you're really sure this girl's worth it, right?
Dude, she's definitely worth it.
Okay. Let's get to it.
She's the love of my life.
Everybody just tell me stop. Why are you falling for this girl? When I went through my heart drops, I love her so much it makes me hurt. Late nights we running high, running away like Bonnie and Clyde. We use so much of our time, making people think it was all the time. This is what life's supposed to be. All the time just you and me. Why do I feel like I can't breathe? Why do I feel like I can't breathe? You used to walk away and I was asleep alone. They say you have the words that make you wanna change your mind. You have those deep blue eyes, filled with so many lies. For me with all your words and left to this unsweet alone. Is this some sort of deja vu? It always seems like just us two. Am I losing love for your face, or do I just need a little headspace? Start listening to what I'm saying, losing myself to you every day. Do you have me in this trance? I can't continue this so-called dance. This is what life's supposed to be. All the time, just you and me. Why do I feel like I can't leave? Why do I feel like I can't breathe? You used to walk away and I was asleep alone. They say you have the words that make wanna change your life. You have those deep blue eyes, filled with so many lies. For me with all your words and left to this unsweet alone. You used to walk away and I was asleep alone. They say you have the words that make wanna change your life. You have those deep blue eyes, filled with so many lies. For me with all your words and left to this unsweet alone. You used to walk away and I was asleep alone. They say you have the words that make wanna change your life. You have those deep blue eyes, filled with so many lies. For me with all your words and left to this unsweet alone.
Hello? Hey.
Yeah, can I help you?
I'm sorry. Is this where Jamie lives?
Who?
Jamie?
No. What kind of movie do you think this is? This is
I'm
unacceptable.
sorry.
You need to get off the steps now. Come on, let's go. Come on, no,
Yeah.
keep going.
Sorry.
I'm gonna keep this.
All right, the tremendous band Moonroof, one of our great past guests and members of the Yoshio family, Vanilla. Just some great groups. We've had a lot on. I was going to play some more music tonight, but we're getting a little behind. So let's just keep full steam ahead and remind you that we are back in 2 weeks here on the O Show. We actually won't be here next Tuesday. First time in quite a while. We'll come back September 13th with the lovely Miss Savannah Lee. Very excited for that program. Yo 2.0 will be back in 2 weeks as well. Nothing tomorrow night, as you know. Concert time. A massive thanks to our guest tonight, Miss Sydney Taylor. She is absolutely terrific, and we had such a great time. And we're going to find out very soon about her new project, and we'll blow it up on our pages as soon as it happens. Scroll down below. You can find her on Instagram at Sydney Anna Taylor, Twitter at S Taylor Official, and Metal from the Inside podcast on Anchor and Spotify and iHeartRadio, and all these great places. She is a gem. She certainly knows her music. We had a great time tonight on the program. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. As always, people pop in and out, leave great comments. We have a great time. We actually got a thumbs up from Margie Evelyn. Wow, Margie, thank you. That's wonderful. I'm glad you took the time to watch. I've known Margie for a long time, and I appreciate her taking the time tonight to watch and leave a little thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. I get touched when people tune in. I really do. When people talk about it, even at the fantasy draft, there's a little comment about, if it's not on the Yo show, I don't want to hear it coming out of your mouth. And that means a lot because that means people will remember the program. And remember as well, it is Jeff and Joel on the Yo show Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock on Spotify. Not Spotify, sorry. Blog Talk, not Blog Talk. I did that one on purpose. So anyway, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, the Stoop Radio Network, Facebook, my page, of course, a lot of places to find us. You can find the reruns and replays at any time on YouTube. And of course, the Stoop Radio Network on Facebook. So you can always find us. There's no reason or no silly excuse, etc., to say, oh, I couldn't find your show. Because our show is always around. You got to make sure you check it out. We do good stuff here. We have a great time. We really do. And the likes of big-time bands like Dave Aragon said, we love it. You guys are doing great things. And, of course, a couple of bands we played tonight, Poeta, who's just a skyrocketing great band, Moonroof. St. Ricketts, of course, opens the program, and they've been awesome. We talked about the bands that we go to see and people that are coming on the program. So much great stuff going on here at the Yo Show. And, of course, we have a blast doing it here. We're going to get ready to call it an evening. I want to thank everybody else for everybody, not everybody else. I stutter sometimes in my own words. I get so excited. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. It means a lot. Everybody that commented, we thank you for that as well. Terrific. Good night, JD Wolf. Thank you, brother. We'll see you again next week, dude, right here. And we got to get you to Philly. Got to get you one of them cheesesteaks. It's not I'm making one in my house. You've seen them babies. I made the wife one last night. They're delicious. So anytime when I get in town, bro, we got a spot for you right here in beautiful downtown Langhorne, where Stoop Studio resides. We're going to take you out with St. Ricketts, of course, like we always do. It's with Fire Cannot Burn. www.stricketts.com and that great band there. We will see you next. What the heck happened? What is this? This is not St. Ricketts. Oh, there. Now we lost it. I got to go way back here and reload it. You know what? Instead, let's take with Fire Cannot Burn out of the mix. And we'll play another St. Ricketts song. How about The Catalyst? That's a great song. We'll take it out with The Catalyst tonight. Let's mix it up. Let's do something a little different. Oh, what the heck this thing has on? We'll get rid of that. I don't even know what the heck that is. There it is. Okay. Jesus, Jeffrey. That's it for this evening. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday night live on the Yo Show. Wherever I heard it.
You're trying to show yourself. You're doing it on fire. You have all the reason to begin again. Under this disaster, the call. Coiling the wire. You have all the reason to begin again. Under this desire. when the sky is gray, but I will remain. Introduce yourself.